Yeah, there we go.
Now we see
That,
it.
yeah,
Yo!
actions, right?
We live now, right? Lights, camera, action. Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to another Safe House Men's Ministry Real Talk Empowerment session. We're glad that you took time out of your schedule to join us for our Real Talk Empowerment session tonight. Um, so right now we have a few brothers on the panel. We're waiting for a couple other brothers to come on, but my first and foremost, my name is Andre Mumford. Um, I am one of the members on the board for Safe House Men's Ministry. And down below, I got Deacon Alvin Harvey, aka Marvin Sapp. Yeah, so he's one of the board members for the Miss Ministry. Yo, he looks like Marvin Sapp. Hey. And we got my man Kevin English, brother Kevin English, another member of the Safe House Men's Ministry. And last but not least, I'm gonna save one of our brothers from the Hospitality Committee, my man Terrence Johnson. We're all here tonight to have a real discussion, real good discussion tonight. So before I get into our discussion, if you're not familiar with the Safe House Men's Ministry at Bethany Baptist Church, we are the Safe House Men's Ministry that we minister to all the men within the walls of Bethany Baptist Church as well as outside the walls of Bethany Baptist Church. We do a lot at the church. We do a lot at the church. We hold different events obviously before COVID, but we have different other events that we've been doing virtually, such as men's prayer,
And player.
men's
Yep.
prayer, We have Safe House Men's Ministry. We have men's prayer uh, every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Every Saturday night at 7 p.m. led by our prayer leader, Deacon Mike Lowe. If you haven't been getting on the prayer call, you've been missing a lot. You will be blessed. We encourage every man to come out and get on that prayer call. We're gonna put the information down below. Hopefully, Maya will put that down there soon. We do a men's prayer call. Um, Also, upcoming next month, March 15th, the Safe House Men's Ministry is holding our shoe drive.
Yes.
So if you have some shoes that you are no longer wearing, gently used, gently
Gently.
used, gently
Emphasize gently used.
yes, emphasize gently used. Men, women, children's shoes. We have bins in uh, the lobby area at both ends of the lobby, and you can donate your shoes uh, to our shoe drive. We'd be more than happy. We appreciate the help that you're gonna give us. So we appreciate that. And I think that's it. So without further ado, we're gonna get into our discussion. So we're gonna be talking about discussing a couple things tonight. So we're gonna be start our first discussion is gonna be talking about mental health in professional athletes. We know that mental health is a serious topic that's been affecting uh, a lot of people, especially our professional athletes. There's been some athletes in the news um, that has dealt with mental health. They have walked away from their respective sports to deal with their mental health. Mental health is real. It is real. It's affecting a lot of people in different ways. Um, I encourage anyone, everyone, um, don't let pride and ego um, stop you from getting help. If you're suffering some things mentally, please seek help. Get some help. Ask for help. Don't let pride and ego and fear stop you. If you need help, get help. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people out there to help you. and we're encouraging that. Yes, we can pray for you, and obviously we will be praying for you, but there's some things you got to go beyond prayer. If you need help with mental health issues, seek help out. Seek help. So, so many athletes that's been in the news. Simone Biles, Kevin Love, um, Calvin Ridley of the NFL for the Atlanta Falcons, and Ben Simmons. Um,
Yeah.
I know. I mean, some people, some of the athletes that's been dealing with mental health. Some people that are not dealing with mental health has been calling them quitters and some other things, because they stopped playing their respective sports to take care of their mental health. Um, so I want to know, amongst you guys, what's your take on mental health in professional sports, specifically with our athletes. I'm gonna start with Deacon Alvin Harvey.
Me, it's on mute. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep, we can hear you.
Great. Why don't we start like? Can I start with this? I'm gonna just read a definition when I looked up mental health, just for those that are viewing tonight, just as a uh, just give us a little bit more reference to what we're talking about here as far as the mental health.
Mhm.
Mental health disorder refers to the health conditions that affect the way a person would respond to the demands of everyday life. It involves changes in a person's behavior, thinking, and their emotions. So you just want to
Mhm.
just kind of lay that foundational thing to. And as you said earlier, this is a very, 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 it's a sensitive and a very it's a sensitive subject in the sense that uh, many who have dealt with this or are dealing with it, it's almost like it's a taboo type of thing to even have talk to even talk about it. And tonight we wanted to come on here and we wanted to tackle this uh, discussion with talking about mental health. And all of us we're into sports, as you can see, and we just picked out some of the people in the sports arena who have stepped out there, boldly stepped out to come out and say, hey, I'm having a challenge in this particular, area of my life. And we
Mhm.
know that this is, it's not just a challenge in just in the athlete's life, but in the lives of people every day. I see it daily on my job and just interacting with those subordinates that I oversee. I mean, this whole COVID thing has just laid a whole nother layer, I believe, on top
Mhm.
of this, you know, people dealing with, the mental health issues. And I think that these are very sensitive times. We have to be sensitive to those that we're leading with respect to giving a little bit of extra room with just how taking notice to maybe how somebody might be feeling that day, just doing I call them we'll do quick huddles, I call them, and we'll have a little huddle, and normally I start the huddle off with, "Hey, how you doing?" And just I get them one on one, and I just say, "Hey, how you feeling? What do how's things going?" Because right now, people, we're having to deal with so many different changes, and it just seems as though that I guess over the last few couple years, we've seen where those athletes have started to come out. And I think sometimes we as people may even forget that they're that's their profession, but they're regular people too. They make a lot of money,
Yep.
and making a lot of money comes with there's a lot of pressure with that.
Yep.
And I think one of the other things too that I've kind of, you kind of dial in on the fact is that it shows you how you can function to some degree where you can actually go to work and do, athlete trains, and how you mentioned Simone Biles and how she was able to still uh, function to some degree every day by doing the various training things that she did. But then it got to a point where when she got up on that balance beam or whatever, I mean, things just, in her head just came, caused, just crashing down on her. So, and it's just kind of being like mindful of those that are around us, and even those that are watching us tonight. I mean, I'm going to say one more thing, and I'm going to turn it back over to you. But I wanted to just make mention of the various types of mental illnesses, and I know we're going to take off. We already took off. There's an anxiety disorder, depression, bipolar disorder, mood disorder, uh, believe it or not, eating and just eating and drinking disorder. People, when we deal with stresses, different kinds of ways. We eat our way through. Personality disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is just some of the things that just kind of wanted to throw out there so we can jump in this even a bit more.
Yeah, I know I missed one athlete, Naomi Osaka,
Yeah.
deal with that, and I think, matter of fact, I think she was the first one that said, "Look, I got a problem. I got some problems." She stepped away from the tennis court. She was like, "Look, I gotta do what I gotta do." She took a lot of, a lot of people congratulated her for that, but there were some people out there, saying some things that was absolutely ridiculous and unfair because you're not in their shoes. I mean, I think she's one. I think if she's not the richest tennis player in the world, she's one of the richest tennis players in the world. And she's like, "Look, I'm gonna leave money on the table to take care of me." And Nike backed her. Nike backed her and supported her.
Yep.
So, I know I see one comment from brother Arthur, Art Art Brown. And he was saying that one of the biggest factors, of mental health, especially seeking help, is fear.
Mm-hmm.
Fear plays a big role in regards to, because, like, how am I going to be perceived and looked at if I tell
Absolutely.
somebody I'm dealing with some mental health issues and I need help. You know what I mean? So he's right about that. Fear plays a big part in it. Uh, Brother Terrence,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts about mental health?
Well, I mean, for me, it it's another part of health, right? We take care of all of the other aspects of
Yeah.
us. We,
Hmm.
we pay attention to our physical health,
Yep.
pay attention to our financial health, we pay
Hmm.
attention to all these other things, but what is lacking is the personal investment in our mental health.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that there's a lot of ways you can invest, in your mental health. And I think that's what's causing it to rise, is that just the lack of attention to it on a personal, individual level, and then obviously on a larger scale, from doctors, advising that, as part of your, physical health, what are you doing to take care of you on a mental level, meaning like an emotional level? What do you do to decompress? What do
Yep.
you do to be you?
Hmm.
Because a lot of us, when we step out, we are quote unquote sending representatives out. Shouldn't be that way, but however, the majority of us, when we step out, we put on a different hat and we have to, quote unquote, code switch and do what we need to do. So that plays
Hmm.
a part mentally to, we have to, quote unquote, perform. And then when the performance is off, we're talking about athletes, they have to be in a certain, state in
Yeah,
order
mindset.
to perform on that high level. And
Mhm.
if it's not a regular practice, like it is for them to practice their craft, um, in terms of their mental health, reading the things you need to read, feeding that mental, which will drive out the fear we talked about. It will just, that renewing of the mind. It's just something that has to be a constant thing. And I think that's what's missing. And the fact that it's now front and center, I think you're starting to see that's a big thing why one of the largest growing professions is motivational speakers, is because that is part of that feeding, and help and support you with your mental health. So that's my take on it. I deal with it every day. I deal with 18 to 24-year-olds who did not finish high school, teaching them how to be productive, how to be successful, to you get into the workforce. So there's a stigma with just being labeled high school dropout. So they come with a lot of different things. So that's my take on it. We just need to do more investment, individually, and then like the SafeHouse Men's Ministry, this type of platform is doing it on a collective area. So that's my initial take.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off of that, you said something good, Brother Chance, about, like the decompress piece to it. Like a lot of people don't decompress. They get like hit with like a lot of stresses, whether it's, work, hearing other people problems and, all that kind of stuff. And they just getting hit with all of that. Taking it all in, and they don't necessarily take the time out to like decompress and release some of that, invest in the time as far as like, let me do some yoga, let me, hit the gym to, like release some of the stress and, to clear my mind. Let me journal, let me meditate, and again, us being a Christian body, like pray, spending time with God, to be centered, cast all your cares, like on him. I think that's that's a big piece. And when we talk about athletes, they're dealing with a lot, especially in this day and age because of social media. Because everybody and their mom is a critic. And sometimes it goes beyond, about being a critic as far as like their performance. Sometimes people, take these things personal. They see these different comments on social media and these different platforms. They're always in the spotlight. When it comes to us regular people, the things that we do, aren't in the spotlight as much, but they do one little thing that we probably can get away with, and it's all over the blogs, and they have to deal with that, So I'll just leave it right there. But the decompress piece, that's a huge one.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes, social media is dangerous when it comes, especially for athletes. I mean, especially for an athlete that has quote unquote rabbit ears,
Mhm.
because you have some athletes that they constantly chat on social media, and they keep, because people on social media, especially when they're always critiquing, their game. I mean, people can hide behind, social media with 160 characters.
Yeah.
It don't take much. Back when Jordan played, and some of the other players that whatever respective sports, Dr. J and etc. You didn't have social media.
Mhm.
It was just the regular news media. You had the newspapers, uh, sports talk radio, which you still have today. But now, you take the social media aspect of it, man, it's turned criticism to a whole new level, to a
Yeah.
whole new level.
Yeah.
But I mean, it affects both male and female athletes. But since we're, a men's ministry, look at the men. A lot of men just don't. They keep a lot of stuff inside,
Yep.
and they don't
Yeah.
want to talk. That
Okay. Yeah.
there's two things that men do. They don't want to talk because they think he's macho. And when it comes to doctors, there's a lot of men out there that refuse to go see a primary care. not just with mental health. It's a primary care physician.
Yeah.
You got to take care. You got to take care of yourself.
Sad but true. Sad but true.
Sad but true. And especially, man, listen, I'm not even going to miss my word. Especially folks who look like us. They don't want to go to the doctor. You know,
Yeah.
they don't want to go to the doctor. You got to go. I mean, I had an uncle, you know, he grew up in another era, you know, and I mean, he didn't go to the doctor, but what he did, I mean, he just did things, I guess, holistically, but he didn't trust the doctors. Now God blessed him to live a long, you know, productive life, and you know, he's no longer with us; he's with the Lord. But you know, you know, he was one of a lot of men out there that just didn't go to the doctors, but a lot of men, it's not every man, but a lot of men, they keep stuff inside and they won't talk. They won't talk.
Can we talk
And
about some
men,
of the things we can put out on this platform that will help men? Some of the stuff that we may do that to decompress, to you know, to kind of get it. You want to put that to the floor? What do you think about that?
Oh yeah. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I can you know share some of the things I do. So first and foremost, you know, I'm an advocate for you know like mental health and seeing a therapist. You know, I've been seeing a therapist for you know 3 years, and that has been you know a tremendous help. You know, like my mental health has been, cope with stress and everything like that. Going to therapy, I learned a lot. I learned a lot as far as like things that I was like you know holding on to. You know, different traumas. Like trauma could, you know, affect you in different ways. There are different forms of trauma. You know, one of them we talk is poverty trauma. You know, and how that can, you know, show in different ways. You know, so therapy I do is one of the things I decompress. Another aspect, I like to go to the gym, play ball, either run, journal, as I mentioned before, you know, and you know, spending time with my daughter, I find that you know just relaxing and you know therapeutic.
Mm.
It's good.
I know before COVID, I mean, you know, I would go to the gym after work. The only days I didn't go to the gym was Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesdays when we had, you know, obviously SafeHouse meetings or whatever, and Wednesday I didn't go because of Bible study. So you know, I would go to the gym, work out, especially when I've had some days that just drove me nuts. You know what I mean? So get my workout in. But now with COVID, I'm not going to the gym, which I need my exercise, man. I know all the weight that I lost. I put on some COVID pounds. I got to get back in the gym so I can go dunk on Ben Simmons. But but no, but all jokes aside, I mean, no, I would go to the gym, you know, and then when I couldn't get to the gym, you know, I mean, I'm into technology, man. So I'm like always looking at technology, man, or just decompress, you know, looking at like different stuff for technology that's going to help me or whatever, not just job related, but you know, just I'm a tech guy, but I have a balance, you know what I mean? And then obviously when sports is on, you know, watching sports, you know, or sit back and catch up on a show or, you know, something to decompress. Yeah, you know, I spend my quality time praying, but there's got to be, like as Bishop would say, there's got to be a balance. There's got to be a balance. So yeah, but the gym was my biggest thing, Kev. I would go to the gym, get my workout in, man, and be good to go. Get rid of the daily stress. That's what I did.
Yeah. You want to add to that, Terrence or Al?
Yeah, I can go. For myself, definitely exercise, and I would say to those that are watching, and even to you, Andre, find that time, even in your room or whatever, your house, to do it, and you just do what you can do. But I mean,
Right.
I found for myself walking, riding a bike, reading, you know, things but you have to have that thing, something to, as Brother Terrence said, to decompress yourself. Because if you don't, we're like, you remember them old percolators that you fill it up and that thing, and then the top will blow.
Yeah.
That's how we are, brothers, because we take everything in, and we wear multiple hats, especially those that are married, and whether you're married or not. I mean, you're trying to find yourself, you the hustle and bustle, you're just doing the things that you're trying to do. And sometimes that part of us, we'll forget about that, but it's one of the most important parts, because there has to be some balance. There's a physical and a spiritual part of what God, how he deals with us, even as men. And we have to really try to balance those two from the standpoint of, I heard Brother Terrence say something earlier about fear, and I think, Andre, you said it too. That's how that fear kind of can creep in there when we're somewhat out of balance. The scripture talks about renewing your mind daily. And what I like about these sessions are we just regular men. We don't have it all together. We're on a potter's wheel. God is still working on us. And so we want everybody out there to know that we don't have all the answers. But what we do know is that we serve a God that is more than able to do exceedingly above all that we can think or imagine. But we have to be willing to do our part. And our part of that is taking care of your mental. They just so saying, when you would hear people say, well, I'm about to lose my mind. No, you need all of your mind. You need all of your mind. And I learned quickly, like I would hear people say that, and it almost made me kind of like, I'm saying, no, you need all of your mind. And I say that to say this. I think that was, I never tried drugs in my life, and this is not to put anyone down for taking drugs, but I always thought that it would make me crazy. So that was the thing that kept me from doing it. And I would never let myself or my mind go to where I was going to try that, because I always had it in my mind that, hey, this is going to make you whack out. So, and it was, it worked for me. But I was in control of my mind, because our emotions are the most unstable parts of us. And a lot of that comes, these different things, the eating disorders, or, the things that go on with us is through our emotions. And when we allow fear, God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of love and of a sound mind and power. But we also have to understand that there's a physical piece to that, as Brother Kevin has said, that he's been seeing a therapist for 3 years, and he's been, we gotta go see the professionals. That's what they're for. God has blessed these people, given them great minds to be able to sit down and to help us work through some of the issues and some of the problems that we may have, where we can say we've been told in the church, the early church. I mean, in the early days, I could think of, man, just pray. You'll be all right. And I mean, we know prayer works, but that is not there's another piece to that. And that other piece is for us to do, our due diligence to want to be better and to better take care of ourselves, because that's basically what we're, that's what we're saying. Because the enemy is a shrewd dude. I mean, he's been at this game for a long time. He comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And so, and part of that is when we allow our minds to drift or to go into these places, and it's hard, because then the thing gets down into the heart. It wraps itself around it tries to grip your soul, and it's just hard to dig your way out of that. So, so I know alone. Yes, alone, absolutely alone.
Yes.
So that's it. Put it in your hand, Brother Terrence.
Yes, sir.
No, that's. I mean, for me, I what has helped me, and there's been some trauma, but what has helped me is equating it to my physical health. So, the way I have to, be mindful of what I eat, or I know I have to eat in order to sustain, I have to eat something, quote unquote, mentally. So,
Yeah.
the reading, and I subscribe to the motivational speakers that were anointed to do what they do, as well as the pastors that have been anointed and called to do what they do. So I constantly feed my mind with those types of things that have always helped me speak what I need to speak, and which will help me always stay in. I've been labeled as a guy that kind of stays even keel, even when things are going haywire. And it's just because of what I've finally, it wasn't always that way, but finally when I understood, they talked about that balance of understanding my physical health, my mental health, which my emotions, all of those type things. We need to feed that part too, feed it properly. Proper feeding. Like, you can feed your body the wrong things and your health will go left. Same thing mentally. You're reading the romance novels and things like that. There may be a time for that, but is that really getting you what you want?
Yep.
And another thing for us as men, that I believe that drive us, you have to be, not say have to be, that's not proper language, but you have to be going somewhere. You have to have some goals.
That's right.
And if you don't really know where you're going, it's easy to get, your days can get blown up, your weeks can get blown up, your months can get blown up, then your year is so. But for me, I always have to make sure I have a goal for each day. And then that sets, goals for the week, and that I'm always shooting for. And if anything that's in my circle, anything that I'm putting in my invisible backpack, that we carry around, and we put the different hats on, we take it out, put this one on. If it's not getting me towards the goal that I have set, then I know I have to take a step back, and I do what Brother Alvin talked about in terms of taking walks. And oftentimes I'll sit in the car.
Yes.
Silent, just
like
sit in the car and just, and just deep breathe, and just thank God that I made it, this far in this day, and just, that's simple stuff. We don't need to overcomplicate it. For me, but I just equating it to how we take care of our physical health. I think if we looked at it and try to simplify it in that way, I know that helped me.
Right.
I think that may help some men out there.
Yeah, and if I can just
Go ahead, Kev.
yeah, if I can just add too, like, I think a strong community too, helps out with that. Like, two things. One, having, especially like young Black men, or just young men in general, or young women, just having like a mentor, somebody who you can, like, get, advice, counsel from, has helped. And then
Agree.
this right here, like a brotherhood, a, place that we can, bounce off ideas, because, there may be something I'm going through right now that one of you guys might help with, so having that community, that brotherhood, and that support, I think also helps with that, to decompress and to help with some of that stress. Prime example, I was going through something last week, and, I reached out to Myron, and Brother Myron, had a talk with me. We talked, like, we didn't pray together, but he was available. He made himself available. We were able to talk, and about the situation that I was dealing with. So the community is really important as well.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And Brother Kevin, you hitting all over. Deacon Mike always tells us that iron sharpens iron, and that's really what this ministry has really been built on, and what it's about. And simply what we mean by that, we just ordinary brothers, and we go through different things, but it's understanding that maybe just as you explain how you went through something, you were able to go to Deacon Myron, another brother, and he was able to not only pray with you, but talk talk with you to talk through it, and maybe from some of his experiences or whatever. Not to get in your business and all of that, but just to be able to be there. And that's what this ministry. And we want all those that are watching tonight and that are listening, and those that will listen, to know that that's what this ministry is really built on.
Yeah.
And we take great pride in doing that and wanting to be there for one another. Absolutely. And I think that's important. And just as you said, that's it. That is that. It's camaraderie, it's community, but it's we are our brother's keepers. So
yes,
that's what this is about.
That is true. If you need some help, like I said, we want you to reach out and talk to the proper people to get some help. But obviously, if you're looking for prayer or for your for your issues or whatever, Peaceway, you can email social@go2bethany.com. That's social@go2bethany.com. Brothers, if you want to reach out to us, in the SafeHouse Men's Ministry, you can email us at safehouse@go2bethany.com. That is safehouse@go2bethany.com. We'll be definitely keeping you in prayer, and we hope that you reach out and get the proper help. And as Brother Terrence said, decompress, find a way to decompress, as well as I think we all been sitting there preaching the same message, which is not just decompress, but seek out and talk to someone. And like Deacon Alvin said, that's what our ministry is about, man. We're out to help. We're out to help you. Men, obviously we are a men's ministry, but we're looking to encourage women as well. As well as our children, because Absolutely. Our children need it. Our children need to see it. Mm-hmm. They're going through some things too. They definitely go through some things too. And look, they have issues, and you know what? Hate to say it, but some of these children, they're leaving here faster than adults.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So pray for our children. If you know something's not right with them, hey, pull them to the side, sit them down, say, hey, talk to me. What's going on? You don't have to be a professional athlete with all the money in the world. All you gotta do is have a listening ear and time. That's all they need, because they're always yearning for that. Take some time to listen and pray, and pray for your children. I've heard some parents, they pray for their children. They get the oil and anoint their head while they sleep. You know what I mean? Just pray for your children. Pray for your children.
Yeah.
So
and they're watching us too. They're watching how we handle
exactly
the day to day, and that will minister to them and help them as we walk this walk. We have to be the examples for them.
Yes.
They have to see us praying as well.
Absolutely.
To teach them
That's true.
that is an avenue to make sure they stay mentally intact per se.
Yep.
Yes.
Very, very important.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that, Brother Terrence. You got something, Kev?
Yeah, I just want to touch back on to the to the athlete piece, but bringing it back to still like real world examples as far as like what we may be going through. So for example, with these athletes, I know like a lot of people are dependent on financially, like people are trying to like, hey, like I need help with this, I need help with this. So they have to, do their job, perform while at the same time, like be there, like for their family, and as men, sometimes we can, like have our own stuff going on, having to do, responsibility as far as, work and, if you got school, you got school,
right.
And then, you being a strong figure, other people might, want to take from you. It doesn't necessarily have to be money, but, it could be just, like your time or anything like that. So I just want to, put that subject out there and get y'all guys' take on that.
Who wants to go?
Jump in.
Look like Terrence want to go in. Go in, Terrence. Go in, brother.
I mean,
double touching.
in terms of balancing, is that where Did I hear it right? Talking about the balancing of it all.
Well, just more so the aspect as far as like how that's added pressure, as far as like, people are dependent when people are dependent on you, when you have to do
Yeah.
your
Gotcha.
own thing, like your focus, you're trying to, achieve your goals and everything like that. But, because you may be the kind of figure that you are, people are dependent on you for different aspects, whether it's that, to be their emotional support, financial support or anything like that, and how that can also affect somebody's, mental health.
Yeah, I mean, as the especially if you're married and you're the head of the household, or like you said, these athletes, they carry communities, with them, into the league, so they have a added pressure to make sure they're giving back and supporting these families. So it it's just another one of those I don't want to say hidden, but one of those aspects of leadership, of manhood, being that provider, being that you don't. It's the failure part. We don't want to fail our families. We don't want to fail those who are depending on us. So yes, that's that. I mean, it is added pressure. How to deal with it, I think it comes out of some type of, again, I go back to my premise. My first statement is some type of habit of of eating mentally, of making sure you're staying strong. If there are no habits built to keep you emotionally strong and stable, then it can easily get derailed if you don't have those things or those people or these communities to support you, on the positive side, taking you away from those pressure moments of being that provider or being that person. That's where a lot of these athletes, this 24 news cycle, this social media age, they're constantly being bombarded, and sometimes you have to say, time out. And they are starting to do that, and I think it's okay for us as men to do the same. Say, you know what, time out. I need a vacation, or I need to, I need this time for me. I need to go take this drive, or I need to go take this run, or I need to go to the gym, but why are you spending so much time doing this? Why you spend that constant thing? It is a thing, but I
Yeah.
think the habitual things that we do, or not do, will affect the mental health, whether it's good or bad. That's my take. That's how I see it.
Yep.
I know we were supposed to talk about another subject, but we're gonna stay on the mental health part. So I'm gonna pose this question to y'all. Now, we did mention some athletes that has gone through mental health issues. So the latest athlete that has been dealing with mental health issues since last year is Ben Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Can I touch on that, Andre?
Yeah, hey man, look, we gonna talk about this, man. So
Listen, especially while I got some juice left, man. Let me let me get a so
go
so
ahead.
so
I'll talk after you.
when it comes to the Ben Simmons situation, we don't know, like, whatever it is that he's going through.
Right.
We just pray that that if it's serious, he get the mental health that he needs. To me, it just smells a little fishy. I'm not saying that that he's not going through anything at all, but I'm not understanding why is it that you need a trade, but you're going through something mentally. Like, why not take the time to work out your issues and like then come back. So to me, okay, the thing I want to add is that mental health within like the last year or two has become popular.
Yes.
Like mental health. I need a mental health day. Somebody told me that their kid didn't go to school for a mental health day. That was 5 years old. I'm just like what are What are they going through? You know,
5 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
what,
get that boy,
you know,
get that child in school. Oh,
what are they going through that they need a mental health day? You know, and I don't want, you know, mental health to be, you know, like a joke or anything like that. Mental health is real. Mental health is
Yes.
serious and everything like that. And you know, while we're talking about it, I just don't want people to abuse, quote unquote, this concept. It's not a concept, but I don't want
Yes.
people to abuse, oh, well, you know, I need mental health or I'm dealing with mental health when I think
When you're just lazy. Let's just put it out there. When you just don't want to do the work. We ain't got to sugarcoat it. When you don't want to do the work, you don't want to go to work, or you don't want to go to school, you're going to say, oh, I need a mental health.
I need a mental health day. I mean, yeah. I mean, now listen. I'm with Kev. I'm one person that is not going to beat on Ben Simmons in regards to mental, because like we said, we don't know what he's going through. And to be honest with you, it's none of our business. Now, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. So I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to, first of all, Kevin mentioned about the trade. It's a bad trade to begin with. It's, oh Lord Jesus. Don't even, we could probably go for another hour on this, but we don't have that. But it's a bad trade. And it's a bad trade. It's a bad trade. I'm not going into more detail. It's a bad trade from a basketball standpoint.
How do you add it up to be bad? How do you add it up to be bad?
Well, let's see. Now, James Harden is 39 years old. Is he 39 or younger than that? Is he younger than that, Kev?
Yeah, I think he's 37.
I mean, that brother then pouted his way out of Houston, pouted his way out of Brooklyn. I mean, the man, James Harden showed up pudgy, bigger than me. And I'm a big dude, Kev. But good Lord. But I'm sitting there looking at him going to Simmons going to Brooklyn. I'm like, Daryl Morey wanted first round picks for the brother, and the brother wound up giving up first round picks. What in the? No, it's a bad trade, man. That's what I'm talking about for basketball, but for mental health, I mean, I'm not gonna beat on Simmons.
If you got a player that's not playing, that doesn't want to play, for a player that's in the top 75 players. You know, yeah, he's on the downside, but you got somebody that can contribute, and somebody that now you're saying that you want me here, and you have some quality pieces in place. How is that a bad trade from nobody playing, to somebody who playing that actually can contribute, that can actually make your team a little bit better? How is that a bad? I'm not saying Philly won the trade, but in terms of you saying it's a bad trade, I think you do what you have to do in the situation. You got somebody who's a cancer to your organization. You need to cut that cancer out, but you replace that cancer with somebody who actually can contribute. I don't see that being bad. I think, did they win the trade? Yeah, I mean, you can debate that, but I think it does it settles the organization down so they can definitely make a run. You got an MVP candidate that now you have somebody that can distribute the ball as well as take some of the scoring pressure off. I think I can't see that being bad. That's all.
Well, I'm like this, man. small time James better show up, man, because that brother he's small. He come up small in big times, man. James Harden don't move the needle for me, man. And I'm not even a Sixer fan. I'm a diehard Chicago Bulls fan. So that brother, I don't know, man. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but now before we signed on for the session tonight, I heard that Ben Simmons don't want to play for Brooklyn now.
But that's not the Sixers.
I mean,
it was a cancer that needed to be cut out of Philly, so they did that. So that it's not a bad trade now.
I don't know, man. From like I said, I'm just not. I love basketball, but I'm just like, okay, you got rid of one problem, you inherited another problem, and we're gonna see. I don't know, man. James Harden guy showed me something, man, because I'm like, I'm not gonna say who won the trade. I'm like you, Terrence. I'm not gonna tell you who won the trade or lost the trade. From me personally, just looking at basketball, loving basketball, I'm like, it's a bad trade, man. It's just bad all the way around. That's just me personally. Because Ben Simmons going to a team. You got a guy that, well, he's a part-time player. He can't play in home games. He's been a problem. But my thing is, Ben Simmons need to get himself straight. He need to get himself
bottom
straight.
line, pray that the brother gets the mental help he needs so he can perform. So he can. He was created to share his gift, as we all are. So so at the end of the day, we just pray that he's able to continue the path so he can share his gift, in terms of that athleticism, that bottom line.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You got something to say? You got something to say, Al? You kind of quiet, brother.
No, well, I totally agree. I mean, when I said totally agree, I agree the fact that I don't think it was a bad trade. I think it was something that definitely needed to happen for two reasons. One, it did give Ben a fresh breath of air to go to a different place because he was getting beat up in Philly. And we can say what we want. At the end of the day, we're all human. Doesn't matter how much money he's making. We can probably say that maybe he did succumb to the pressure in the big time moments where he didn't perform the way that they thought he should, and he's got to work through that. He took a lot of shots. I mean, Philadelphia is a tough city to play any sport in, and you can't have a glass chin in Philly.
Not in Philly.
You're gonna get
fragile
knocked
like
out.
glass, man. You can't be fragile like glass.
You're gonna get knocked out, and I think for Ben, he got knocked out on two ends. I mean, it got to him psyche, and it was time for them to depart. Because I think I read an article recently that Daryl Morey recently did come back to clean things up a little bit and say, hey, we probably could have handled this a little better. I think the organization got to take some blame too. As much Ben as it was the Sixers. And he also came back and said that he thought that Ben did have some that he wasn't able to play. That he didn't think that he just where he was in his head in space just wasn't wasn't there. Because when you look at it, he played with Embiid. You figure Embiid probably has a couple more really good years like the way he's playing right now. Maybe if he didn't have any injuries. So that window for Philadelphia to try to go get that championship, I mean, if Ben may have performed at the level that they thought he might have, we might have been talking about, Philly's next championship possibly.
Right.
So that it's a small window. But all of that goes, it all kinds of goes with the territory. In a sense, I mean, that is your profession. So you just kind of have to understand that some of that is going to come with it. But
that's right.
On the flip side of that, I mean, we have to understand that people are human, and you're always dealing with that physical part as well as for us as men and those that are watching tonight. We want to be able to deal with both. God deals with the spiritual and the physical, and I think Ben he's a good player. He's an all-star. And in his mind, and I think if we look at it from this perspective, he's probably been told all his life how great he was, and all these things he could do.
There you go.
And and then the next thing you have that brain fog or that block, and one of the, but you had it at the wrong time in one of the biggest series, biggest games, and the fans, and especially in Philadelphia, they're not gonna let you live that down. He cannot come back to town. So I think the trade was
he's banned from Philly.
It was good, and I want to say Brooklyn. I mean, he doesn't demand the ball as much as so he can play off the ball. That kind of thing. So they might have made out. I think they kind of made out with the trade.
It's a good fit. It's a good fit for them. I agree, and that's what basketball is all about. Is about the pieces fitting to the skill sets of the 5 that are on the floor. And he is a facilitator. Going downhill, he's a beast.
Mhm.
He ain't pulling up hitting no jumpers, but
No.
he's grabbing rebounds, and he's going to put and all those shooters they have, he's going to put them in good positions.
Exactly.
And, so it was a good fit, and I had to cut out the cancer here in Philly, and I believe that the way James Harden plays, I think it will help Embiid to continue being the beast that he's been. And hopefully he'll add some scoring. He'll get his scoring back and add that punch to Philly as well. Well, it's all to be seen, to be determined. But I think the fact he probably more motivated now, fresh start. And that's what we do. We come to these crossroads in life where we gotta hit the reset button, and no matter what it is, if you have to take advantage of those moments.
Right.
We all come to them. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Got a couple of comments. Brother Art Brown said he needs to. You're obligated to your contract you signed. We hear you, we hear you, Art. But guess what? any player can get traded anytime. Look, we love the sport, but it's a business. Ask NFL players.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. You know what I'm saying, and then of course Brother Kevin gonna sit there telling me to cite my source, man. We'll get into that discussion a little later, man. But we got 1 minute left. So again, I wanted to thank everyone for coming out and joining us for our discussion tonight. Men, brothers, please show up to our SafeHouse men's prayer call on Saturday night at 7 p.m.
Yes.
The information is going across your screen. Take that down, write that down so you can join us every Saturday night at 7 p.m. And if you don't mind, send us your information at safehouse@go2bethany.com. That's safehouse@go2bethany.com. If you happen to miss this information, email us and we'll email you the information and everything else. We want to thank Brother Terrence Johnson for joining the panel tonight, and Deacon Alvin Harvey. We appreciate you coming tonight. Remember, we have Bible study tomorrow night at 7 p.m. God is using Bishop and Pastor Nick, and obviously, and then we have the encounter service on Sunday, 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. So without further ado, I'm going to say good night. We thank you for coming. Deacon Al, can you give us a short prayer real quick?
God, we thank you right now for your goodness, mercy, and grace. God, we thank you for the men and all of those that will view this. And God, we know that mental health is a serious issue. And God, we thank you because we know you deal with the whole man, and it's always spiritual and dealing with the physical. So God, we ask you right now to look on those and strengthen those that are out there that are dealing with mental illnesses, and give them to know that they can come forward, God, and talk to somebody, a professional, and get the help that they need, along with being covered in prayer. We thank you for our ministry, because we got a forward-thinking ministry, and we do have professionals in the ministry that for those that attend Bethany and that those that are looking for somewhere, we do have that in place. So we thank God for that. Amen.
Amen. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.